What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I got another episode of the People's Questions, episode 123. Like always, I would like to thank all of you guys out there that sent in your really great set of questions, especially one of you that sent in a really massive set of questions, and to jump right into them. The first three questions come from Napping Sniper, and you want to know, what do I think they can do to spice up shooters in terms of story and gameplay? Well, in terms of story, I think it would be nice if we actually focused more on like the fantasy fictional aspect of shooters. So we have more like space-like shooters, something like Halo, because shooters today they kind of like to focus on being modern warfare or alternate time zone, alternate timelines, like something like Wolfenstein. But I think like my idea for like the dream Star Wars project would be like if they actually made a Call of Duty style Star Wars game. And in terms of gameplay, if you have like a squad-based shooter, it would be nice if you had the ability to jump between characters. It's like if there's a scenario where you're separated from like your squadron mates, you can simply jump to them, and then you can play as them for a little bit, and then you jump back to other characters. I don't think we've seen that a few times. I think that's only happened in one other shooter I can think of. The next question is, what do I think about Battlefield Hardline in terms of story and multiplayer? I really don't have many thoughts about it because I'm not a Battlefield fan. I have no plans on playing Battlefield Hardline, so I don't really care what they do with the story and multiplayer. And your last question is, will I watch the show Tyrant on FX? Yeah, sure. If enough of you watch it and you think it's a good enough show and you want me to watch it, then I'll be sure to hop on and watch it with you guys. The next two questions come from Gunnar Drake, and you want to know, do I plan on doing a video of me playing Metal Gear Solid anytime soon? Sure, Gunnar. Which Metal Gear Solid game would you like me to play? Tell me in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get that video up as fast as I can. The next question is, do I like Elder Scrolls V Skyrim? Not really an Elder Scrolls fan. I've not played any of them, but from what I've seen of it, it just doesn't look like the type of game I would be interested in. The next question comes from Snowy Cougar 101, and you want to know, do I like Grand Theft Auto 5? Sure, Snowy. I liked Grand Theft Auto 5. I had a lot of fun with the game. If you want, I can leave a link to my review of it in the description down below. Clearly, Trevor was the most standout performance character, and I think the whole heist mechanic was truly a step in the right direction in terms of innovating the type of game style that Grand Theft Auto usually provides. And now for the massive list of questions coming from one of my subscribers going by the name of True SSG, and you want to know, what are my thoughts on the new direction of the DC Cinematic Universe? I have no real thoughts on it. Warner Brothers can do whatever the heck they want at this point. I mean, if they think that they know what they're doing, then, who am I to tell them otherwise? Your next question is, how do I feel about Batman and Superman not being a direct sequel to Man of Steel? I think we all saw this coming. I'm not taking this project seriously anymore. I stopped months back, so, whatever the hell we get is whatever we get. Surely it's going to make its money back, but, I personally think that the movie's going to suck as a whole, and, that's all I have to say about it. Your next question is, do I think it would be a good idea for DC to use Kevin Conroy for the new Batman movies? If you're talking about the animated movies, then sure, Kevin Conroy has done a great deal of them, and so, it's a safe choice to want to bring him back to do more of the Batman animated movies. Your next question is, what are my thoughts on the bat suit for Arkham Knights? I think it's a very solid bat suit. I like how the armored plates are in layers, so it definitely gives Batman a lot more flexibility. I think it's very close reminiscent to the armored suit that you could have played with in Arkham Asylum, so I'm glad that they're kind of bringing it back. Your next question is, what are 5 Bat villains that I would like to see in the Affleck Bat films? Let's see. Penguin, Riddler, Mr. Freeze, I don't know, Killer Croc, and I don't know, maybe Shiva, I guess. Your next question is, what are 5 Justice League villains that I would like to see in the upcoming Justice League movies? Darkseid, Mongol, Doomsday, Brainiac, and Imperiax. Next question is, should they ever do a crossover movie between Marvel and DC? No, Warner Brothers and Disney will never ever want to have their characters do crossover films. Besides, we don't need it. We've already had a comic book series based on it, and we know who's better. I mean, it was pretty much a tie, so they're even in my opinion. Your next question is, how do I feel about the character Darkclaw, who is a fusion of Wolverine and Batman? Well, I actually didn't know there was such a character until you just mentioned him, so I'll be sure to look into that to see if this Darkclaw is an interesting character to read about. Your next question is, how would I compare and contrast Henry Cavill's Superman to Christopher Reeve's Superman? They're both Superman of their times. Christopher Reeve's Superman is definitely more reminiscent of the overall viewpoint of what Superman is supposed to represent. However, I think that Henry Cavill's Superman certainly had more depth, and he's much more of a tragic character, and so I think many of us could sympathize with him a little bit more than Christopher Reeve Superman, who was always kind of Mr. Perfect, and it wasn't until he wanted starting to have his own things that he really was starting to have his own depth. But I think they're both good Supermans. They're just these Supermans of their times. Your next question is, how long do I think it will be before people get tired of superhero films? Well, you could say the same thing about Call of Duty games. As long as they're making money, I don't think people are going to get tired of them. Your next question is, what do I think will be the next big genre of films? Women empowerment films. I mean, I just got through Maleficent, and that's pretty much what that film was, so hopefully that will kick up next. Next question is, do I think people will get tired of movies altogether? No, true SSG, people will never get tired of movies. People have been watching movies since they were black and white without sound, so I really don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. Your next question is, who do I think will be the next A-list actor or actress? I don't really know, and I don't care. Next question is, do I think someone will come along and create another epic saga? There's always the potential for someone to come around and make the next big thing. I mean, look at all the franchises that have come out in the past 30 years. I mean, they all started out as books, and then someone decided to make them film adaptations, and now they're entire franchises. So, you know, I think franchises are like this are created all the time. It just takes time for them to finally get picked up and then put on the big screen. Your next question is, have I ever had a late, long night conversation with somebody? Yeah, sure. I've had tons of conversations with my brother when I was visiting him. That's all we usually do is have long conversations. I'm really comfortable talking to him about just about anything. And the last question is, am I religious, and what are my views on the Bible? Am I religious? Not really. However, I can respect the religious beliefs of others. I have no problem with people who have different religious beliefs. I've just had a tendency that people who are religious kind of view me as a heathen because I choose not to believe in what they do, and that's why I've been kind of disowned by about 75% of my family on both sides of my mom and dad's side. And my views on the Bible, heck, it's a good read. I just don't think it's the good book that everyone thinks it is, because a lot of people that take that book seriously, they only choose to focus on the good moral messages that book has, and they choose to ignore all the kind of dark things that happen. I mean, there's mass genocides, there's murder, there's destruction of the world, there's all kinds of terrible things that happen in that book, and they never acknowledge it. And I think that's a shame, because I think for us as a race to really acknowledge our flaws, we need to acknowledge these terrible things that happened, if they really did happen. And once we do that, then we can prevent this kind of stuff from ever happening again. And with that, those are the questions that you guys sent in for this particular episode of the People's Questions. I'd like to thank the four of you for sending them in. If you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer in the next episode of People's Questions, please type them in the comments down below, but make sure you get them into me before next Wednesday when I start filming this. And if you liked this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to keep track of me on my future episodes of the People's Questions. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.